So, children, have you ever imagined that how do you manage to not fall ill despite being surrounded by invisible invaders like bacteria, viruses, and fungi? These invaders are so strong that may enter your body and wreak havoc. So, what is in your body that forms the army and guard you from these creatures? This system is called as immune system, and everybody knows about it. You can consider this system as a kind of specialized army that protects you from these microscopic invaders. And the special thing about this system is that it remembers its enemies from the previous attacks and battles and strikes harder the next time if encounters the same enemy. You can consider the fact that immune system can be divided into two types of immunity, that is innate immunity and adaptive immunity. Innate immunity is the kind of immunity we are born with. How do we get it? Obviously, from our mothers. And what is adaptive immunity? This kind of immunity we acquire during our lifetime when we encounter different kinds of pathogens. So, in order to understand this, you can consider this kind of immunity as a basic immunity and this kind of immunity as specialized immunity. In the same way as the locks protect our homes, you can say that simple and basic immunity is provided by the lock. This is called innate immunity. But if we install facial recognition system, then what happens? It provides a specialized security, an additional layer where it would remember who the intruder is even after many years. So unlike innate immunity, adaptive immunity has two main characteristics. First, it is highly specific. So you can say its specificity is its main feature. And second important part is it has memory cells so that second time if there is a similar kind of attack, then it may produce the cells or army which may fight that infection to a large extent. Now, what happens is when we encounter the pathogen for the first time, it produces what is called as the primary immune response. We are discussing here adaptive immunity. So, what is primary immune response? It is a bit slower initially because it is beginning to learn who the intruder is and what strategy is actually required to fight that antigen or the intruder. So, but the next time the same pathogen, if it enters the body, then the body launches a faster response, which is called as secondary. This is called a secondary immune response. This is called as secondary immune response, which is faster and stronger. This produces more antibodies. Why? Because memory cells come into action and they remember the initial infection and it accordingly it makes a faster response. Let's proceed to the soldiers of our army, which are lymphocytes, and these are of two types: T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. So B lymphocytes get matured in bone marrow, hence they get their name B lymphocytes. They produce antibodies which forms the basis of humoral immunity. What is humoral immunity? It is the immunity where the immunity presently acts against the pathogens present in the body fluids called as humor. T lymphocytes forms the basis of cell mediated immunity. Cell mediated immunity, and it is of two types: helper T cells that assist B cells for the production of antibodies, and then there are cytotoxic T cells which are actually the killer cells. What do? They infect they actually kill the infected cells and even the cancerous cells, infected cells, especially by the virus, because virus have the capability to enter inside the cells and they actually kill those cells. This type of So what happens is this type of immunity is also important for transplant rejection. What happens is when an organ is transplanted to another receiver, and the receiver has always the danger of getting the organ rejected. This is solely because of cytotoxic T cells, and at that time immunosuppressive drugs are given so that the receiver may not reject the donor's organ. So coming back to antibodies, which are the special weapons of the body, we can say that it is Y-shaped proteins, actually glycoproteins, which are highly specific. One antibody will only match with one antigen exactly like a lock and key. As far as the structure is concerned, they are made up of two heavy chains and two light chains. So you can say their structure is H2L2. H2L2. And both these chains are actually polypeptide chains which are linked together by disulfide bonds. So it has two regions. These polypeptide chains have two regions, variable region and a constant region. As the name suggests, this region is varies the amino acid sequence in different antibody classes, whereas constant region remains fixed, the sequence remains fixed in all the antibody classes. So constant region is called the C region, it is called the FAB region. Why? Because it is the antibody binding site. Variable region remains at the tips of the Y. Okay. Now, you can say that FC region is important for determining the class and function of an antibody. Coming to the classes, IgG, it is the most abundant. It crosses placenta and gives immunity to the fetus. It's an important antibody. Then there is IgA, which is found in colostrum, protects the newborn. Then there is IgM. IgM is the first antibody in the primary response. IgE, forms an important part in allergies. Then finally IgD. It is found on the blood plasma, not in the blood serum. Remember it. It initiates B cell activation that finally leads to antibody production. Now, types of adaptive immunity. Again, it's very important. Types of adaptive immunity. Two types it is, active and passive. First, we study about active immunity. Active immunity, as the name suggests, is quite active, and antibodies are only formed after exposure to antigens. It is of two types, natural and artificial. Natural, you can say that it is developed after some natural um event has occurred. For example, after recovering from measles. Artificial, you can say, developed after vaccination. Normally, it develops after vaccination. You have nothing to play, it's all the body which is playing the role. Then you can say that it's an immune response and it needs time because it's natural phenomena and it needs time to recognize the intruders and respond according to it. And it is long lasting due to its memory cell formation. And what is its advantage? It provides prolonged protection against the same pathogen. Second is passive immunity. Again, it is of two types, natural and artificial. Natural immunity is antibodies transferred from mother to it through the placenta to the fetus and from colostrum to the infants. And artificial is ready-made antibodies given by injection, example anti-tetanus serum, snake antivenom. So it immediately starts moving and it is short-lived. As soon as the antibodies are finished, its response is also finished. So in short, I have explained everything about adaptive immunity which is needed. So I hope everything is clear. Thanks.